Welcome to Stay Tuned's Garage. My name is Alex. Today we're going to do some brand new on-new brake rotors and pads on the Mustang because those brakes are pretty clapped out. While I'm down there, I'm also going to do oil change, oil filter, air filter. There's a whole situation going on with that in which I'm not going to replace it for now. And there's a dog here. Hi dog. Alright, anyways, it's a beautiful sunny day in California, so I'm trying to get this done so I can go to the beach or go out and enjoy the day because it's beautiful out and it's actually kind of hot, but I consider that beautiful. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys the brakes I've been running on. If you can see, there's a whole bunch of cracking and the rotors are super warped. All in all, these brakes, the rotors at least, are pretty bad. And from what I noticed, there's like 2 millimeters of brake pad material left. So the brakes I've been running, pretty sketchy. They've probably been like this for a while too. I just kind of never really checked them. That's bad on my part. I should have checked them for sure. One thing I did want to mention though is that I did order brakes for this car. I noticed this a while ago. I did order the brakes for this car like a month ago, but they were on back order. I didn't really check the stock. They're on back order, so it took like a month for them to get here. But all in all, it was a pretty good deal. And yeah, so I'm fine. I didn't really drive the car for that time, so car's fine. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get these out of here because I don't really feel too good about running these brakes. Alright, so I've got the oil draining over there. I'm just gonna let that do its thing. I'm probably just gonna let it drip for the entirety of the front brake job, and then at the end I'll pour the new stuff in and do all that good stuff. But in order to remove these brake calipers here, there are two, I think, 15 millimeter bolts in the back that hold the caliper bracket. But before you do that, you have to slide off the caliper itself. So that's a T45 down here, or a T50 Torx. So you take this little bolt off, and then you can slide the caliper up, and then you'll be able to slide it off, and then you can just hang it up here. I just like to hang it back here behind the shock, just wedge it in, shouldn't fall. And then you have access to the caliper bolts, and you can take your old pads off and do all that good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, I just took the lower caliper bolt off, and I just want to show you guys real quick how this will just like hinge up, and then you can slide it off just like that, and that's your caliper. I just put it up here, kind of wedge it in there, just wedge it in there, and then I got free rein over my pads. And then these are the two caliper bolts I was talking about. These two. Alright, and with the caliper bracket removed, this guy right here, you can just go ahead and grab the rotor and just pull it off. And there you go. And then here we have the new rotor I'm gonna put in. And one thing you want to do before you put in a brand new rotor is you want to grab some brake clean, whatever brand you want, and spray it on there, wipe it off with like a towel or something, because they do put a rust preventative like oil coating on these, since it is just bare metal, just so they don't rust in the shipping process. So you just want to clean that off of it. Alright, so I went ahead and got the new rotor on there. I already brake cleaned both sides. You have to do both sides. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the caliper bracket back on. And when I put this back on, I'm actually going to use some of this high temp, come on, do your thing. I'm just going to use this high temp Loctite so that the caliper bolts don't come out, and high temp because it's going to be on the brakes. Brakes are known to get very hot. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so now it is time to actually put the piston back onto the caliper. And they do sell a tool. So let me explain this first. As your pads wear out on your brakes, there's, like for example, like on this pad, there's less and less material, this brake pad material. Like compared to this is a brand new pad. It's kind of like the tread depth on your tire. There's less material, so your piston on your brake caliper is pushed out more. So when you try to put new brake pads on the caliper, they're not gonna fit. There's not gonna be enough. It's like the width of the brake pads and the brake rotor, let's say it's gonna be this much, but your caliper is already pushed out, so there's only this much space, so it's not gonna want to go in. So what you have to do is compress the piston back into the caliper, and I'd recommend you buy an actual tool that will spread the piston towards there by applying pressure over here. It like kind of like a jack, it spreads it this way, because if you do it like I'm doing it, I just have a little clamp and I'm putting it on the caliper housing and the piston itself. It is possible that I can either blow out a seal, or I can, if I put too much pressure on it, I can like crack the housing or the piston, or something bad could happen. That's what they make special tools for. And there are specific calipers and pistons that instead of just pressing in, instead of just putting pressure on it in to compress it, you actually have to turn it. It's kind of, you have to like turn it in. So just make sure you know what you have and buy the right tool. This has always worked for me, but then again, I could get unlucky one of these days and have to buy a brand new caliper, so you never know. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then I'm just gonna put some of this grease on the pads, on this where they slide, and on the piston right here, and then I'm gonna throw those in, and we're pretty much good to go. Alright, so I got it back on. Everything's pretty much back on. I even put the little Torx screw back in. As you can see, I went a little overboard with the grease. I forgot that this part, it only has to go on these. You basically just want to put the grease in any moving components, except for the friction pad and the rotor itself. So if you do get any on that, you make sure you clean it off and it's not there, because then you don't want your brakes to be greased in a way, because you want friction. You don't want there to be lubricant in between the things that are supposed to stop. So now I'm gonna put this back together. I'm gonna put the wheel back on, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. I'm not gonna record that, but I will record the rear when I do those. Alright, so I'm gonna go do the other side, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, so there's gonna be a slight change of plans. I already did the front brakes, and I flipped the car around. I was gonna do the rear brakes, and I was doing some inspecting, and I realized the wheel bearings and the hub are a little messed up. So, and the brakes in the back look pretty good. It looks like they were done pretty recently. So instead of so I still want to put the new rotors and the new pads on there, but I'm just gonna wait until I get the wheel bearing in, and then I'll do all of it at once and make a video about that. So front brakes are good, back brakes, like I said, there's enough material, so I should be fine. But this is gonna be the end. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.